Radio IMWS.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to a very special Mohammed Hour on Radio IMWS. Now, the post-cricket season has been busy for local teams, and none more so than my guest this evening, who, as well as travelling on a historic cricketing trip to the Vatican, have picked up another award in what must be ranked as their most successful season to date. It gives me great pleasure to welcome into the Radio IMWS studios Mount Cricket, and first, kicking things off or batting things off is Mr. Sadiq Patel. Sadiq bhai, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu Mohammed bhai, how are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm well. And just before we get things going, we need to mention also anybody out there who wants to join in the program, you can do this evening. Just give us a call on 01924 505 629 if you want to be live on air, or you can send in a text or WhatsApp to 07460 809 218. That's how you can get in touch. Now, Sadiq bhai, mashallah. To start with,
Can I start?
Yes, you can indeed.
What are the conditions?
What conditions?
Are we going to have seam bowling, swing bowling, pace bowling, overcast?
They do say I throw the odd googly.
But the googly spinners don't open bowling.
Well, you know what? I always believed that if they did, it'd be a lot more interesting.
So is it going to be two pace bowlers to begin with, is it?
Two pace bowlers to begin with, I do believe. Right, okay, Sadiq bhai, tell us a little bit, because you've been mentioned a lot as being the inspiration behind it and organizing it. Tell us about that. How did it all come about?
The actual work started in June 2013. I think it's accepted that Mount Cricket Club was essentially in June 2013 two teams, a first team and a second team. No real community engagement or involvement, albeit local members were playing for the team. They were turning up every Saturday and Sunday and doing what most cricket clubs do, I guess, in the summer. So the start off really is junior cricket. That was the first of many projects to get to the Vatican.
Yeah.
From coaching kids on a Sunday morning in 2013, we moved on to having an under-13 team for the season start in 2014.
Yeah.
So that was building the foundation.
Right.
Foundation in the sense that I always take the view that where there are kids, juniors, then it brings a breath of fresh air to any sports organization. More importantly, it brings parents. It raises the profile of the club. So the first brick, shall we say, in the foundation was the implementation of a junior and youngsters development program. And when we really kicked on in 2015, we started with the youngsters getting involved with the local scouts group. From there on, we moved into doing the food kitchen and food bank. That was our first collaboration with the local church, the Methodist Church on Commercial Street in Batley. That was a great success. And then in the back of my mind, I always had the idea that we would need a flagship project that would unite each and every single person involved with the cricket club. It was no great secret that I wanted a flagship event. We looked at playing a game at Lord's, at Headingley. But I think the real jewel in the crown, as I say, was the game in Rome against the Vatican 11. How it actually started was I read an article about St. Peter's Cricket Club and why it was set up, what they set out to achieve. And there was a lot of publicity surrounding the game that they had in 2014 when they came to the UK and played the Archbishop of Canterbury's 11 at Kent. Very widely publicised in the cricket world. It was a game not only of playing cricket, but to kill whatever issues there were between the Roman Catholic faith and the Protestant faith. So automatically, I took the view that there should be absolutely no reason whatsoever why a Muslim team cannot take part in these activities.
Okay, I'm just going to interrupt you because we do have a caller on the line now. Then, caller, if you just bear with us a moment, if you can, Sadiba, if you can put your headphones on. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Caller.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Mashallah.
मेरा नाम सोली आदम है.
Soli Adam.
जी.
Right, Soli bhai, kaise aap? How are you?
I'm fine. People request me you must speak in Urdu. तो वहाँ पर कौन-कौन मौजूद है? Sorry, मैं थोड़ा अभी नमाज पढ़ के अभी आया.
जी, कोई बात नहीं. यहाँ हमारे मोहम्मद सादिक पटेल साहब है, माशाल्लाह, अब्दुल अजीज रावत और हमारा निसार साहब और मकसूद भाई, माशाल्लाह, सब यहाँ स्टूडियो में इस वक्त पे मौजूद है. यूसुफ कयात और साथी भी आने वाले आएंगे थोड़ी देर में इंशाल्लाह.
तो मैं थोड़ी देर बाद फोन करूँ, मैं अपना थोड़ा व्यू बता दूं कि ये वेटिकन में जो हम गए, किस तरह हमने एंजॉय किया, क्या इससे हमें फायदा हुआ, तो इस बारे में मुझे बात करनी थी. मैं अभी आया हूँ, थोड़ी देर बाद फोन करके आपको बताऊं.
जी जी जरूर, कोई बात नहीं.
ओके, मैं 5 मिनट बाद फोन करूँगा.
ओके, जज़ाकल्लाह. ओके, सलाम अलैकुम. Right, that's Soli Adam, who was also on the trip and will be joining us shortly, inshallah, via the wonderful invention of telephone. Sorry, you were interrupted. You've had the St. Peter's cricket came over to play the Archbishop of Canterbury. It was mixed between the Protestant and Catholic faith. Sorry, please continue.
So, and the Archbishop of Canterbury's 11 won that particular game at Kent in 2014. So I took the view that there is absolutely no reason why a Muslim cricket team couldn't go to the Vatican and play against the St. Peter's 11. I'll let the people who actually travelled to the Vatican and explain exactly what experiences they gained and how they felt and how they were received. But on a wider community now, I think it's important to say this. I think for many years, there's been lots of good work being done about how we as a Muslim community interact, work in partnership with, or in a very simple sense, maintain friendships with those who are not from our faith.
Right, yeah.
I think you'll be the first to agree, and I think all your listeners will be the first to agree that we don't live in a Muslim country. There's lots of Christians, people from the Jewish faith, Hindu faith, Sikh faith, and other faiths that live in the UK, and it's important, we as Muslims, to live in peace and harmony with these individuals who are from other faiths. So it was really a no-brainer. I think there were a lot of advantages to be gained from a Muslim organization to go out from this town and partake in this friendship game, so that the world media, the local media and the national media could see that Muslims do have positive things to do, do have positive things to say. And more importantly, rather than looking at differences between these different religions and faiths, maybe we should look at it from the other side of the coin, where why don't we build on the things that we share?
Yeah.
Certainly from the conversations I've had with the people who visited and traveled to the Vatican, they said that the Roman Catholics are not dissimilar to the Muslims. They're very steadfast in their faith. They accept God, albeit they might not share certain views about the differences between the Prophet Isa, peace be upon him, and the noble Mohammed sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But it's not a deal breaker, I think, for us to progress, and I think for us to mature into a proper society and a active community, a community that does believe in doing good and having civic duty, then we have to remain good and true and friends with people from other faiths. And if you read the headlines or the way in which the print media and the spoken media has covered this particular event and project and initiative, I've not actually seen, unless I care to be corrected, a negative article or any negative views about a Muslim cricket team playing a Roman Catholic team in Rome. So I think on that level, it was a great success. And I think it certainly opened the door for our community and our teams and our organizations to work in partnership with people from different faiths,
yeah,
or maybe from people who might not have a faith, but who do good. And I think on that level, I think you will be stretched to find any particular person who will look at this particular project or initiative from a negative point of view.
Yeah, as you mentioned, it's been welcomed in a very positive light, and of course it needs to be. It is, because everything that happened was very, very positive. Now you're the development officer. Ex-development officer. Breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. Ex-development officer. Why have you stepped down? I mean, your list of achievements are.
Alhamdulillah, I think it's been an absolutely fantastic journey. Wonderful people at Mount. I think 2 years was enough. I think if I was to be asked properly, and if I was to give a proper and properly weighted response, I think one thing that this particular trip will certainly tell people is that we have no choice but to develop future leaders in our community. I think it's important that we trust different people to undertake different projects and to take different responsibilities. I think if certain people sit on the chair for too long, projects motivation can be saturated. We don't have new talent coming in. We're not developing future leaders. We're not equally sharing responsibility throughout any particular organization or team. And I think now is the right time where I think certainly after the success of what the touring party had in Rome and at the Vatican, certainly new leaders have come forward with different views and maybe different levels of synergy and inertia and momentum. So I think it's only right that if I stay on, then it becomes saturated and new ideas are not going to be developed and new ways of thinking are not going to be adopted or approached with. So I think it's been a wonderful 2 years, but now it's Mount CC's responsibility to work upon the foundation that I and we have built.
Okay. Now then, just before we came on the air, you did mention to me that you had some exclusive news for us. I mean, you've gone all the way to Vatican. Are you going to tell us what's next?
Quite happy to. Next year, there's going to be a Muslim female team from school age to university age that will travel to America and take on the Ivy League debating. So for those that don't know who or what the Ivy League stands for, we're looking at, one of them has already agreed, but we're looking at MIT, Yale, and Harvard. So a female Muslim team will be leaving Batley, inshallah, or Dewsbury, Hetman, Wyke, and surrounding areas. And we'll be taking on the world's best at debating. And hopefully, as part of that project, they may or they may not get to see the UN in New York, and hopefully the White House and Washington. So that's going to be, inshallah, spring next year. So if you can certainly advertise that we need the brightest and committed and dedicated female students between 16 to 21 to come forward. We've got about 6 months to teach them how to debate and the etiquettes of debating and what have you. We're hoping to arrange a couple of friendly matches with the best universities here in the United Kingdom. So I'm looking at Oxford, Cambridge, Imperial, and so forth, so they can get into the habit and learn about debating and the ways in which to win or lose a particular debate. And once we think we're ready, hopefully next year we'll be traveling to America and taking on the best teams there. It's going to be a fully Muslim compliant project. So although it's an all-female team, it's going to be, I know I had a long discussion with Dr. Rajpurasab, who I was expecting earlier today. He and his wife very kindly and graciously agreed to take the team out. So if any parents are concerned about any Islamic legality issues, it's going to be a fully legally compliant journey where their daughters, if they're interested to take part and if they are selected to go, will be looked after and cared for and traveled with and by responsible adults. No gentlemen who are not responsible will be traveling with them. Okay. So we're going to have a proper team looking after all the Islamic aspects of 16 to 21-year-olds traveling. So probably like a school trip, if I can put it that way. So there's absolutely no issues for parents who may want to encourage their daughters to put their name forward. There's obviously going to be auditions and selection and so forth. So we're hoping to do that within the next 6 to 8 weeks. So I think Batley will be a perfect place for the next, hopefully, world's best debating team. I know Batley is very clever and good at debating, isn't it?
I was just about to say as well, yes, we are very good.
So now it's time for Batley to put its money where its mouth is. And if anyone wants to take part and get into this team for America next year, then post and adverts. And I hope your radio station would also promote it. Certainly people can come forward and put their names.
Well, that's brilliant. It's an exclusive here, Mount Cricket going from the batting crease to the podium stage.
It's not going to be Mount CC.
It's not going to be Mount CC?
It's not a Mount CC
Oh, my apologies. This is a separate venture altogether.
Well, if you look at it, Mohammed, then I think for those listeners that know me reasonably well, and certainly for those that read my recommendations when I independently reviewed the Indian Muslim Welfare Society, I think it's only right and fair that we as a community move into sport, into culture, into education, to the arts and the sciences. So obviously part 2 of the grand project is education and cultural exchange programs. So we've accomplished, alhamdulillah, with great success, the Vatican trip. So now I think it's time, the time is right to get the next group of female leaders in this town and an area to go across the shores and debate against the world's best. So that's going to be the educational aspects of it. And slowly but surely we're going to move into arts and culture. So it's part 2 of the general program. So inshallah, we'll be inviting this particular organization to take part and collaborate, and the other community organizations. I certainly believe that these type of projects should be supported by and with not just one, but for the whole community. I think when Mount CC was not only representing our town, I think it was representing Yorkshire, it was representing England, the United Kingdom, and more importantly, I think it was representing the whole of the Muslim world. And I have nothing but sheer admiration and thanks and gratitude, and I'm really, really proud of the way in which the 30-odd people that did go absolutely represented each and every single element of the whole project with amazing diplomacy, amazing love. I had lots of emails back from the Vatican, and they spoke very, very highly of each and every single person that traveled. And I couldn't really have asked for a better group of people to represent all of us in Rome. And I think if we really look at the real winners and the heroes of this particular project, although I understand my name has been mooted a lot in terms of it took me over a year to plan this particular initiative and project and the rest of it, I look at the end product. It's great planning, organizing, and resolving these type of projects and experiences. But I think you really have to look at the people who deliver it, and the way in which this particular project was delivered. It was done seriously 11 out of 10. And I have nothing but sheer admiration for all those who executed it so well. So certainly from me, a very big thank you and deep gratitude to all those that went to the Vatican.
Okay, that's brilliant. Now then, we have got guests in the studio. Sadiq Bhai, Jazakallah for coming on air.
It's a pleasure.
Congratulations on getting everything sorted out.
Can I just make one point?
Yes, sure.
I'm very, very happy for Maulana Farooq, who also had a wonderful project, which is at page 13 of your October edition
Imams,
of
yes.
Pegam.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic project. And although Mount CC has had a lot of the coverage and the plaudits and the rest of it, but things start at home, don't they?
Yeah.
And the very fact that we had a team of imams playing against a team of priests at Sands Lane, this is exactly what we as a community should be doing. So again, a very big thank you and my very deepest of congratulations to Maulana Farooq for arranging this particular fixture. This is just as important as the Vatican.
That's Maulana Farooq from Komonyol. And mashallah, yeah, well done. I was there. There was a lot of love between the players and the people off the pitch as well. There was very little talent, I have to say. Some of them hadn't held a bat for years, but it was the objective that counts, and the hearts were in the right place. But it was very enjoyable. Okay, you are listening to Radio IMWS. Tonight, you can listen to us on receiver number 456.3750 or online at www.imws.org.uk. And you can watch us on YouTube. Just go over to the Radio IMWS YouTube channel and you will find us there, inshallah. We're going to take a very, very quick break and be back with you right after this.
Online and on your home receiver, you're listening to Radio IMWS.
Hire the Al Hikmah Center for your weddings, functions and events with segregated halls for men and women, including independent access, able to accommodate 1,500 guests, private car park with car park attendants, easy access, great location and full free Wi-Fi. There's no place better for your special day. For bookings and inquiries, call 01924 500 555 or email info@imws.org.uk or visit our website at www.imws.org.uk. The Al Hikmah Center, where your special day becomes a cherished memory. Play five-a-side football in the Al Hikmah Sports Hall for just £18 an hour between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. Monday to Friday. Call 01924 500 555. To book a slot at any other time, call 07968 222 886. It is related by Sayyidina Anas radiallahu anhu that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, when a man marries, he has completed half of his religion, so let him fear Allah regarding the remaining half. The Al Hikmah Nikah service launched by the IMWS aims to introduce prospective marriage partners to help fulfill this important aspect of faith. The service is open to unmarried Muslims who are permanent residents of the UK. For more information, visit our website at www.imws.org.uk.
Radio IMWS.
Welcome back to Radio IMWS, broadcasting live from the Al Hikmah Centre in Batley, West Yorkshire. Okay, we still got Sadiq Bhai with us. Sadiq Bhai, I know you wanted to mention some of the partners.
Yeah, I think it's very important because I think it would be most discourteous for me not to say this. Certainly reaching out to those that are my age and older. When we were at school, at the high school, and I think Mohammed, you will remember this too, that Yorkshire had this policy where if your parents weren't born in Yorkshire, then you couldn't play for the county.
Yeah.
And approximately 28 years on, certainly from when I got interested in cricket, I could be completely wrong, but I'm pretty certain in saying this. Yorkshire County Cricket Club made a special tie for this particular event. And on their tie, they had the Yorkshire Rose and Mount CC's logo. So certainly in our lifetime, I mean, who would ever thought when me and you were at Batley High School, in the first and second year, where if somebody had said to us in those days, there's going to be one day where a Muslim cricket team's logo is going to be on the Yorkshire tie. And Yorkshire will be doing a special tie for a Muslim cricket team to be going to play cricket at the Vatican. I think people would have either
laughed us out of the room.
Or they probably said, you need to go and get treatment from a psychiatrist.
Well, yes.
Yeah. So my deep thanks to Yorkshire County Cricket Club for very kindly preparing and making and giving us these limited edition ties. And it's my promise, and I hope you will speak to those here, that if we can get the limited edition tie in your cabinet in the reception that you have here, where you have all the wonderful things that the community has done. I think it's historically a very important item or artifact. But I think my biggest thanks has got to go to the England Cricket Board, and in particular Lord Kamlesh Patel, or Professor Lord Kamlesh Patel, who sits on the board at the ECB. They provided Mount CC with blazers, with kits, very high quality kits, caps, and a lot of moral support whilst the team and the tour party was out there. And I think if anyone was to say that the England Cricket Board doesn't in any way support ethnic cricket, doesn't support projects like these, then they are wrong. I mean, I can only really speak about my experiences with Yorkshire County Cricket Club and the England Cricket Board. They literally bent over backwards to help Mount CC. And the way in which they behaved and they supported, not just in the financial sense with the kits and the blazers and so forth, but the moral support. I mean, to go out to the Vatican with leading officers and executives of the England Cricket Board and Yorkshire County Cricket Board is really quite impressive. Yeah. The chief executive of Yorkshire County Cricket Club went out, Mark Arthur. It was actually his birthday the day the game was played.
All right, okay.
The vice president of Yorkshire County Cricket Club, Robin Smith, also went out. So I'm personally grateful to both. Mr. Philip French, who's the international director at the ECB, travelled with the party. Matt Dwyer, who's got a very big responsibility at the ECB. He's the new director of participation and growth in cricket nationally. And he's got a lot of wonderful projects lined up because he's very keen to channel and to bring together all the ethnic cricketers throughout the land to work with the ECB and to actively promote Asian cricket. And also a lovely gentleman called John Wright. He literally worked day and night to make sure that each and every single aspect of this particular trip was in order and that it was properly planned. He was so concerned that he actually flew out on the last minute to Rome. And I got the email from him at approximately 12:01 a.m. on the 17th day of the game. And the first thing he asked me on email is, do we have all the prizes and pendants and agenda ready for tomorrow morning? This is at 12:01 a.m. on the 17th of October. So my deep thanks to John Wright. And there was a lady called Hannah in London, who I've never met, only spoke to once because I thanked her. She personally ensured that the kits and the blazers were made to the high spec. And I'll tell you a little story about this because this is very important. The blazers and the kits were couriered to me, and I received a telephone call, an emergency telephone call on the Tuesday morning. The gentlemen were and the ladies were gonna fly out on Thursday. And I got a phone call from the ECB saying the courier is sent out and you should be getting the blazers first thing this morning. I got to the office and the card was already there. The courier had been and left. And I'm thinking, I'm a dead man because they're flying on Thursday. And we tried to make inquiries to where the courier was, which distribution center these blazers were going to end up in. And the actual manufacturer and maker of the blazers rerouted a courier. Don't know what type of deal he did with the driver. He said, wherever you are in the UK, you need to turn round and deliver these blazers to this particular place. Otherwise, we're all dead. And I think within 3 hours, the blazers were really redelivered to me, and hopefully and thankfully, the blazers were then distributed to all those who were wearing them. So this is the concern, and this is the real precision that there was in ensuring that this particular trip was going to be a great success. The last two people I'd like to thank, because I think this is important. Mr. Shafi Chobdat at Chobdat Accountants very kindly donated the pendants that were given to all the guests and the dignitaries on behalf of Mount Cricket Club. This was in Rome. Nisa Bengali, who's here from Mini Express Travel, very kindly made very special and unique T-shirts for all the traveling party. So we're very grateful to him. And believe it or not, even Pennine Trophies actually sponsored the Sir John Major Cup. And that's my last thank you. A lot of people might not know this, but the ex-Prime Minister, British Prime Minister, who was cricket mad, I think
Yes,
most people will know. He actually gave us consent to have the cup named after him. So in all the future games that will take place between Mount CC or any other Muslim team and the Vatican, it will always be the Sir John Major Friendship Cup that they will be competing for. So my last thanks obviously would then go to the ex-British Prime Minister.
Right. Now then, I have got a question in Sadiq Bhai. So it's going to be very quickly because we do want to get as many people on as well. First of all, congratulations to Mount Cricket on their success. Listening to the eloquent Sadiq Bhai with much interest. Wishing them well, and I'm sure with his help, the club will go from strength to strength. And then a message came in from the same person, and I write, sorry, am I right that he is leaving? And if so, why? Or have I misunderstood?
As I said earlier, it's Abdul Bai's now, I think, taking the reins, and I wish him and all at Mount CC the very best of luck. But just no hatred, no hard feeling. We're best of friends. Certainly, I'm only a telephone call away, but we've got the Yale, Harvard, and MIT project to deliver next year. So my focus and my hard work is going to be on that for the next 6 months. But Mount CC is in a very good place, and it's going to do fantastic things. And it's gentlemen like yourself who need to get youngsters, both boy and girls, involved in cricket. It's a great game. You learn teamwork, discipline, responsibility, and I think we've got two great clubs in this town. We've got Batley CC, who again, very warm and deep congratulations, were voted the best Asian cricket team in the land earlier this month. And obviously on the other side of town, we've got Mount CC, and I think we're spoilt for choice. So youngsters, boys and girls, get to either both clubs and take part in cricket. It's a wonderful sport.
That's brilliant. Jazakallah, Sadiq Bhai. Now then, from Sadiq Bhai, we're going to move on to the new development officer. Is that right? Abdul Aziz, we got an exclusive here. Sadiq Bhai just said you've taken over the reins.
Sadiq Bhai is really flattering us.
But you have been now then. You are listening to Radio IMWS, broadcasting live from the Al Hikmah Centre in Batley, West Yorkshire. This is Mohammed's Hour Special with Mount Cricket in the studio. Now then, you can give us a call 01924 505 629. Text or WhatsApp us on 07460809218. And tonight you can as well as listen to us on the receiver 4563 and online. You can also watch us live on YouTube right now. So get over there and you can see how bad a hairstyles we've actually got. Abdul Aziz, you are one of the fortunate people to actually go all the way there and play in the match.
Well, I think before I move on to matters of the game and what we did there, I think it's important to just pause and reflect on what we've heard this evening from Sadiq Bhai. Not just in the sense of how the vision emerged, and believe me, that vision as it unfolded was difficult to grasp in our humble experiences, because Sadiq Bhai, we were talking about chess earlier in terms of what a game of strategy is. To be honest with you, in terms of execution of this vision, Sadiq Bhai was thinking way ahead of anybody else. So for that, I'm sure we've heard this a lot, but for your listeners as well, I think the whole town owes Sadiq Bhai a major gratitude, because as a result of a humble cricket game played in Rome, not only has that influenced the thinking, the thought process, and the interaction between two great faiths, but actually for our town, for our country, and for our stature in this country as Muslims, it actually reshaped some of that thinking, some of that negative thinking, which ultimately is brewing in the media. I think Sadiq Bhai made a very interesting comment that such was the interest in this game, because the Vatican actually had a program of games that they played, and I think there was something that they posted today that of the 6 games they have played, they've won 5 of them. But I think it's the game with Mount and the fact that we were playing an all-Muslim team which attracted the most attention. So we were not just there in terms of playing a cricket match. We were there as ambassadors on a number of fronts, which I cannot imagine. At the time, it felt weird, but on reflection and having seen the having seen the reaction from journalists all over the country, it clearly is a big thing that Sadiq Bhai has done, and his vision is outstanding. We're just mere humble pawns in the chess.
Right. I'm just going to interrupt you. We have got a caller. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brother, is Fayyaz Rashid, Director of PKWA. I want to extend my heartfelt congratulations to all connected with Mount Cricket Club and Brother Mohammed Sadiq Patel, whose vision and unstinting hard work made the initiative a major success for not only for cricketing sense, but also the positive contribution the Muslim community has made worldwide.
Subhanallah. And Fayaz bhai, you were one of the traveling party. How was it for you?
Oh, it was amazing. But firstly, it was really camaraderie amongst everyone within Mount Cricket Club family. You know, there was some 30 plus people of us, and it was just one big happy family having a great holiday, but discussing major issues of the day. And what I want to say is that this initiative has achieved some of the success which government's multi-million pound prevent program has not been able to achieve. It shows that Muslims have always been interested in community cohesion issues. Community cohesion is one of the key foundations of our faith, and sometimes far too many times the isolated negative images are used to portray our whole community. However, this initiative sent a positive message that we always have extended our hand in working with everyone for better society for our global community.
Yeah, absolutely. It is a fantastic message that's out there, and it's a message that continues to grow, grow speed as it's surrounding traveling across Europe, really, and further beyond as well. Fayaz bhai, I realized we have got Mohammed Maqsood in the studio with us, and he will be on to tell us about the PKWA side of things on the trip. But from you, there's one question that I want to know. How did Mount bat? Were they good or bad? Be honest.
Mount batted well, and clearly a talented team could even bat better. However, I think that the wicket was unusual and odd and strange. So I think had they practiced a bit longer on the wicket, would have done well. And the other thing was I think Mount players like to hit ball across the ground, and the outfield was a bit slow, and I think that had an impact. But overall, I think that they did considerably well, and it was a win for the team, and I think we win certainly in terms of the positive message that they've given across the world, that Muslim community is always keen on building interfaith relationships, strengthening those relationships. We want to work with everyone, whether it's locally in Batley, nationally within UK or internationally, to ensure that all of our citizens live in peace, harmony, and benefit from projects which are good for humanity.
Yeah, absolutely. And brilliant. All the people who went out there.
Yeah,
sorry,
and
go on.
Obviously special mentions to Abdul Rawat and the other big plaudits to Mohammed Sadiq Patel. I've sent you a text already to give my big congratulations, because he was the visionary, and it was his unstinting hard work which actually made it achieve. That's not to take anything away from other people in Mount Cricket Club. There's always sometimes who's a driver, and he's been the driving force for that. And our hats off to him, because to achieve this scale of media coverage kind of globally has been phenomenal.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And I think we have a cricket correspondent for the next season in you, Fayaz Bhai, mashallah. You can call in from I think we're going to have to, because I'll tell you what, your coaching tips, these boys need to pay attention to that. I think it's spot on the mark there. 4 runs you lost by, lads. not to put a dampener on the evening. But Jazakallah, Fayaz Bhai. And I am going to try get onto the messages. We have got a few piled up now. So Jazakallah, Fayaz Bhai. Okay, assalamu alaikum. Okay, and now then, that was Fayaz Rashid, who is from PKWA, the chair of PKWA, and he will he was with the team, and we have got Mohammed Maqsood in the studio, who will be telling us more about that shortly, about the PKWA involvement. Hold on, we've got another phone call. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Soli bhai, mashallah.
जी.
आपके ही इंतजार में थे. अच्छा, आप सुना है कि माशाल्लाह आप यानी कि माउंट क्रिकेट के साथ क्यों गए?
ऐसे तो मैं काफी टूर मैंने किए क्रिकेटरों के साथ, वेटरन्स इंडिया पाकिस्तान की टीम में हम लोग शीर्षा लेकर गए थे, लेकिन इस टूर में वो जो टूर हमने किया वो हम भूल गए, लेकिन ये एक यादगार टूर बन गया. उसकी वजह ये थी कि इससे प्रूव होता है इस टूर से कि क्रिकेट, हमारे जो 28 से 30 लोग थे, उसमें हम लोग गुजराती, सूरती, भरूची, पाकिस्तानी सभी मिक्स थे, और सब हम एक साथ सफर किया. एक ही कोच में गए, एक ही प्लेन में गए, एक ही साथ खाना खाए, एक ही साथ उठे, एक ही साथ बैठे. इससे जाहिर होता है कि माउंट क्रिकेट क्लब ने हम सबको एक कर दिया. हमारी बहनें, औरतें आपस में इस तरह मिल गई कि जैसे वो एक दूसरे को सालों से जानती है. ऐसे जिस तरह मैं मिसाल दूं, इकबाल जो हमारे सेवल टाउन में ही रहता है, मैं हार्डली आज 30-35-40 साल से हम साथ रह रहे हैं एक ही जगह पर, लेकिन इतनी जान पहचान नहीं हुई जो हमारी 4 दिनों में हुई. इसी तरह बदरू है, उसकी वाइफ और मेरी वाइफ, वो हमारे घर का बिल्कुल सामने रहने वाला, लेकिन उसकी वाइफ और मेरी वाइफ इस तरह, और उसकी बेटी से इस तरह दोस्ती हो गई 4 दिनों में, हम इस तरह मिलजुल गए. तो माउंट ने सिर्फ वेटिकन और मुस्लिम को नहीं मिलाया, बल्कि हमारी कौम को एक मिला दिया. और इसमें बहुत मेन जो जॉब है वो सादिक का है, सादिक भाई का, तो उसने पूरी कौम को एक साथ कर दिया. और इतना अच्छा लगा, माने कि हम जब सफर में जाते हैं या कहीं भी जाते हैं, तो या मैच खेलने जाते हैं, बहुत सी टीमों के साथ में जाता रहता हूँ, तो मिले, बाय मैच खत्म हुआ, भूल गए. आज ये कि ये औरतें भी एक दूसरे को टेक्स्ट कर रही हैं, फोन कर रही हैं, मेरी बीवी दूसरे वो बच्चियों के साथ, जिस तरह जैसे एक दूसरे को सालों से जानते हैं. इस क्रिकेट ने पूरे माहौल को चेंज कर दिया. और मैं सोच रहा था कि अगर ये 28-30 आदमी एक कौम को साथ कर सकती है, तो अगर हम सब मिलके बाटली ड्यूसबरी एक साथ हो जाए तो कितनी बड़ी बात है. मैं इतना खुश हुआ इस सफर से और इससे कि मैं बता नहीं सकता. जिस तरह ये क्रिकेटर थे, इन्होंने मुझे जॉब दिया कि भाई थोड़ा बहुत कोच करो. मैं नॉर्मली तो हमेशा कोच करता ही रहता हूँ लोगों को, लेकिन इनको कोच करने के बाद ऐसा लगा कि मैं अपने बच्चों को कोच कर रहा हूँ, उनको हेल्प कर रहा हूँ. इतनी खुशी हुई. पहले इनसे लगाव था, ये बच्चों से जो भी क्रिकेट खेलता है मुझे उसके साथ लगाव हो जाता है, लेकिन इनके साथ जाने के बाद एक प्यार जैसा हो गया. बच्चों के साथ ऐसा लगा कि मैं जैसे बच्चों को हेल्प कर रहा हूँ, मेरे अपने बच्चों को मैं क्रिकेट सिखा रहा हूँ. और वहाँ जो माएँ बहनें थी और इन बच्चों ने जो हमारी खिदमत की, वहाँ पे ब्रेकफास्ट के अंदर हमें जो रिस्पेक्ट दिया सुबह, तो ऐसा लगा कि हम पूरे 28-30 आदमी जो थे वो एक फैमिली थी. सिर्फ हम ये नहीं कि हमने वेटिकन देखकर बहुत बड़ी कमाल कर दिया, बहुत से लोग जाते हैं, लेकिन सबसे बड़ी बात जो मुझे लगी इस टूर के बाद कि हम आपस में एक दूसरे से इस तरह मिल गए कि जैसे क्रिकेट ने हमारी फैमिली को, और वेटिकन ने और माउंट ने और सादिक भाई और दूसरे लोगों ने हमें एक फैमिली बना दिया. तो मैं जब घर पर आया तो मैं सोच रहा था कि यार एक छोटी सी क्रिकेट अगर एक दूसरे को मिला सकती है, तो क्यों ना हम हमेशा इसी तरह मिलजुल के सफर करें, मिलजुल के एक साथ रहें. तो ये कोई बाटली ड्यूसबरी का कोई वही ना रहे, बल्कि बहुत खुशी हुई मुझे कि मैं इस के अंदर इन्वॉल्व था. और मैं तो ये चाहता हूँ कि मेरी कभी भी जरूरत पड़े तो मैं इनको कोच और हेल्प करने के लिए तैयार हूँ. لیکن بہت ہی میں جیسے میں نے کہا میں نے 3-4 ویٹرن اور اس کے بعد انڈر 19 اور بہت سی ٹیموں کے ساتھ گیا ہوں اور کوچ کیا اور ان کے ساتھ رہا ہوں, لیکن یہ ایک عجیب اور الگ فیلنگ تھی. ایک وہاں پہ انہوں نے ہمیں جس طرح ویلکم کیا, بہت بڑی بات ہے, بہت بہت. لیکن ویلکم کے ساتھ ہم آپس میں جو جس طرح مل جل کے رہے نا, وہ ایک بہت ہی عجیب اور بہت ہی بڑی بات تھی. اور اس کا صحرا جو جاتا ہے وہ صادق کے اوپر جاتا ہے, جس طرح اس نے ہم سب کو ایڈوائس دی تھی کہ آپ کس طرح رہنا, کس طرح, اور حنیف بھائی اور دوسرے لڑکوں نے بھی, لیکن اور مائیں بہنوں نے بھی, بیٹیوں نے بھی, جس طرح ہم لوگ کی خدمت کی اور ایک دوسرے کے ساتھ پیار محبت کے ساتھ رہے, مجھے بڑی خوشی ہوئی, بہت ہی خوشی ہوئی. اور میں نے صادق بھائی کو فون بھی کیا کہ اگر میرا کبھی بھی ضرورت پڑے, اور بچوں کو بھی میں نے کہا کبھی بھی تمہاری میچز ہو, کوئی بھی کام ہو اور میری ضرورت پڑے تو میں اینی ٹائم آپ لوگوں کی ہیلپ کرنے کے تیار ہوں. اور مجھے بہت ہی خوشی ہوئی. اور یہ سب سے بڑی بات ہے کہ ایک دوسرے کا نمبر لے لیا, ایک دوسرے سے باتیں کر رہے, ایک دوسرے سے مل جل رہے ہیں. تو ایک چھوٹی سے 4 دن نے ایسا لگا دیا, ایسا ملا دیا ہم لوگوں کو جس طرح کہ ہم سالوں سے ایک دوسرے کو جانتے ہیں. بہت خوشی ہوئی واقعی, مجھے تو بہت اچھا لگا کہ ہم اس دنیا میں بھی اسی طرح مل جل کر رہ سکتے ہیں.
سبحان اللہ. اچھا صالح بھائی, آپ نے بتایا کہ ماشاءاللہ بہت اچھی بات کیا کہ وہاں جا کر, یعنی کہ جیسے آپ نے بتایا کہ ماں بہن بھی ساتھ میں تھے اور مسلمان یعنی کہ بھائی کچھ 30 کا گروپ, وہاں کا لوگ کا کیا ریاکشن ہوا جبکہ یہ سب مسلمان وہاں کرکٹ کھیلنے کے لیے چلے گئے؟ یا ایک تو ہے جو ہوسٹ ہے ان کا علیحدہ, لیکن عام لوگ کا کیا ریاکشن تھا؟
عام لوگوں کو ایک عجیب سی لگا کہ واقعی آپ لوگ اس طرح ٹیم بنا کر اتنی دور تک آ سکتے ہیں. اور جس طرح میں روم کے بعد دوسری جگہ چلا گیا, تو جہاں جہاں ہم گئے نا, اور انہوں نے پوچھا کیا آپ ہالیڈے پر آئے, میں نے کہا نہیں ہم ہالیڈے پر نہیں آئے, ہم اس طرح کی ٹیم کے ساتھ آئے ہیں. تو وہ پوری سٹوری پوچھنے لگے کہ واٹیکن میں آپ کو کس طرح انہوں نے ریاکٹ کیا, آپ کو انہوں نے کس طرح لک آفٹر کیا, کیا کیا کیا. تو وہ ہمیں انگلینڈ کے بارے میں نہیں پوچھ رہے تھے, ہماری ٹیم کے بارے میں ہم لوگوں نے کس طرح ان کو فوٹو تصویریں دکھائی, ویڈیو دکھائی. تو وہ بھی ایک شوق ہو گئے کہ ایک ایسی جگہ پر, اب انڈیا پاکستان میں ٹیم لے کر جاؤ تو دنیا جانتی ہے وہاں کرکٹ کھیلتی ہے, دنیا کی 9 کنٹریوں میں, بنگلہ دیش ہے, ساؤتھ افریقہ ہے, آسٹریلیا ہے, وہاں اگر کرکٹ ٹیم لے کر جاؤ تو کوئی عجوبہ نہیں لگتا کہ چلو ٹیم آئی اور کھیل گئی. لیکن اٹلی کے اندر جا کر کرکٹ کھیلنا, اور وہ بھی اس جگہ پر جہاں پہ آج تک میرا خیال ہے اتنے سارے مسلمان ایک ساتھ جمع ہو کر ان کو کرکٹ کا مظاہرہ نہیں بتایا ہوگا. اس لیے ان کو بھی ایک بہت عجیب سی بات لگی کہ ان کے بلاوے پہ ہم ایک لفظ میں, ایک ہی آواز میں سب مل جل کر تیار ہو گئے. ہم ہماری بہنیں, بھائی اور بیٹیاں بھی تیار ہو گئی کہ چلو, اور انہوں نے ہمیں بہت سپورٹ کیا, بہت سپورٹ کیا. ریئلی ایک عجوبہ تھا, ایک انبلیویبل تھنگ تھی. میرا خیال ہم واپس اگر یہ کوشش کریں نا تو یہ واپس نہیں ہو سکتا ہے. اتنی بڑی بات ہے.
سبحان اللہ. اور ابھی فیاض بھائی بھی فون پہ تھے, تو ہم نے فیاض بھائی سے تو بیٹنگ کا پوچھا, لیکن آپ سے تو درخواست ہے کہ بولنگ کا آپ انالیسس کریں کہ ماؤنٹ کرکٹ کا بولنگ کیسا تھا. یہ یوسف تو ماشاءاللہ منہ پہ ہاتھ ڈال دیا, پتہ نہیں
بولنگ یا بیٹنگ کا سوال نہیں تھا, سوال یہ تھا کہ میں ہمیشہ جیتنے کے لیے کھیلتا ہوں.
ہاں,
ہم جو اتنی دور جانے کے بعد ہار گئے نا, وہ ایک تھوڑی تکلیف ہوئی کہ اتنی دور جانے کے بعد ہمیں جیتنا تھا, لیکن خیر ایک کو ہارنا تھا, ایک کو جیتنا تھا. لیکن ہم نے بہت اچھی اسپرٹ سے ہار بتائی. یہ نہیں کہ ہم نے گالی گلوچ کی یا ایک دوسرے کو کوئی الزام لگایا یا کسی کی طرح, یا بعد میں کمپلین کی کہ بھائی بالنگ خراب تھی یا بیٹنگ خراب تھی یا کپتانی خراب تھی یا فیلڈنگ خراب تھی. ہم نے یہ کہا کہ بس وہ اس دن ہمارے سے اچھے تھے. میں نے جس طرح ان کو میچ کے بعد کہا کہ ہم میچ کھیلنے گئے تھے اور وہ جیتنے کے لیے کھیلے تھے. اگر ہم بھی اسی اسپرٹ سے کھیلتے تو ہم بھی جیت جاتے. وہ ہم نے میچ کھیلا بہت زوروں سے, بہت دل لگا کر کھیلا, لیکن ہم نے جیتنے کے لیے نہیں کھیلا اور انہوں نے جیتنے کے لیے کھیلا. فرق اتنا تھا 2 ٹیموں میں, اور اسی لیے وہ 5 رن سے جیت گئی. بہرحال وہ اتنی بڑی بات نہیں ہے. خیر हम इतना दूर गए और अफसोस तो हुआ कि हम हार गए, क्योंकि हार तो हमें पसंद ही नहीं है। फिर भी ये स्पोर्ट्स है और हमने बहुत स्पोर्ट्समैन से, सब लड़कों ने बड़े स्पोर्ट्समैन से इसको एक्सेप्ट किया कि भाई हमारी कमजोरी थी जिसकी वजह से हम हार गए।
सुभान अल्लाह, बहुत अच्छी बात है माशाअल्लाह। और मैं तो सोच रहा कि हेडिंगली पे रीमैच होगा तो आप बॉलिंग कोच और फैयाज भाई बैटिंग कोच, तो माउंट कभी हार नहीं सकते।
नहीं, ऐसी कोई नहीं है, ऐसी जरूरी नहीं कि मैं कोच बन जाऊंगा, हार नहीं सकते। मैं तो इनको एडवाइस दे सकता हूँ। काम तो इन्हीं को करना है, परफॉर्मेंस वहाँ करना है। मैं इनको एडवाइस दे सकता हूँ और मेरी एडवाइस एनी डे एनी टाइम, ये नहीं कि हेडिंगली के लिए, बल्कि एनी टाइम एनी डे। ये नहीं, माउंट भी कोई भी क्रिकेटर हो जो जिससे क्रिकेट का लगाओ और मुझसे एडवाइस लेना चाहते हैं, मैं एनी टाइम देने के लिए तैयार हूँ। लेकिन ये बहुत बहुत बड़ी बात है कि हम इतने दूर जाने के बाद हमने अपने कौम का, अपने मुसलमान भाई बहनों का और हर एक का नाम वहां रोशन किया। हमने अपना नाम डूबने नहीं दिया, ये सबसे बड़ी बात है।
सुभान अल्लाह। सली भाई जज़ाकल्लाह, आप रेडियो IMWS पे आए इस शो में, और माशाल्लाह आगे भी इंशाल्लाह ताला दोबारा भी आपको इंशाल्लाह शो पे लाएंगे।
जरूर मैं आता, लेकिन मुझे थोड़ा काम था इसलिए मैं मसरूफ हूँ थोड़ा।
कोई बात नहीं।
ओके, मेरी तरफ से सबको सलाम कह दीजिए।
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Okay, that was Solly Adam, who was one of the 33 people who went on the trip to the Vatican with Mount CC. That's what the show is about today. Remember, WhatsApp and text messages. I know I've got a few piled up already. 07460809218. And we're live on YouTube, as well as you can listen to pick us up online at www.imws.org.uk, and on the local receivers. We're going to take a very quick break, and we'll be right back with Abdulaziz and also Mohammed Maqsood, inshallah ta'ala.
Online and on your home receiver, you're listening to Radio IMWS.
Join the discussion on Radio IMWS every Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday from 8 p.m. Topics include Islam, current affairs, health, legal, education, and a weekly program delivered in Gujarati. You can join in by calling the studio on 01924 505 629 or send us a text or WhatsApp on 07460 809 218. For program schedules, visit www.imws.org.uk. If you would like to volunteer and be part of the Radio IMWS team, email radio@imws.org.uk or call 01924 500 555. Are you running a business from home and need to move into an office, a place where you can confidently meet your clients, or maybe looking to relocate? The Al Hikmah Center provides office space in a safe, secure and scenic location. With easy access, convenient location, free car parking and free Wi-Fi, hiring an office at the Al Hikmah Center can allow your business to grow. For more details and special offers, call 01924 500 555 or email info@imws.org.uk. Hold your meetings and conferences at a secluded scenic location just 15 minutes from the M1 and M62. Whether small, medium or large, the Al Hikmah Center in Batley, West Yorkshire has the facilities to accommodate, including free parking and all the equipment to make your seminar successful. So whether your need is for a handful or over 1,000 attendees, we have all you need. For details and charges, call 01924 500 555 or email info@imws.org.uk. You can find out more about our conference facilities by visiting www.imws.org.uk.
Radio IMWS.
Welcome back to Radio IMWS. This is Mohammed's Hour. It's a special, and we have Mount Cricket in the studio now. Then I've got a few messages, quite a few messages actually. This one, I'm sorry I can't be there today as something urgent had come up, which Yusuka knows about. But can I take this opportunity to thank Brother Sadiq Patel for all the hard work he has done at Mount CC. He took the club from strength to mega strength in his 1.5 years at the club as a development officer. It was a pleasure working alongside him, and I really have learned some things off him. But he's still a long way away to becoming like him. He's truly a really nice gentleman and a man with a great heart. I wish him all the best from everyone at Mount Cricket Club. That's from Suleiman Motala. Mashallah. And I've also got another message coming here. Salams, I just wanted to congratulate Sadiq Bhai for a great job well done. He has initiated some fabulous projects, a man of great integrity. He has managed to achieve a huge amount in a very short space of time. All the very best with his future projects. May Allah reward him in both worlds. That's from Jabir Lahir from Batley Cricket. So, mashallah, those a couple of messages that have come through. We've got a few more here. Assalamu alaikum. Brilliant achievement, Sadiq Bhai. Sadiq Bhai, it's all about you, mashallah, today. A brilliant achievement, Sadiq Bhai and co. I agree with your sentiments about giving time and space to new leaders. What makes Mount a Muslim team? As I'm sure it's open to players from any background. Who's going to come in for this? What makes it a Muslim team? The person asked the question. What makes it a Muslim team? As I'm sure it's open to players of all backgrounds. We had this with Batley Cricket as well. What defines a team as a Muslim team?
Well, I think there's an issue about definitions here, because I know leading up to the Vatican tour, the media picked up this whole issue about a holy Catholic team playing a holy Muslim team. But actually, in its roots, in terms of representation and participation, it's open for everybody. You know, anybody who wishes their son and daughter to bring them along and participate in cricket, you know, are welcome at Mount, at Batley, or any other club, I'm sure. So let's just put that to bed. That whilst predominantly the makeup of the players is Muslim, it's open for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. And it makes a better story when you can have a Muslim team against a Christian team. It works good. It works good in the media. And on this occasion, in a positive light. A big hearty congratulations to Mohammed Sadiq Patel for his vision and an unstinting hard work to make this initiative a major success, not only Mount CC, but for highlighting the positive contribution of Muslim community worldwide, something which the government's multi-million pounds Prevent program has not been able to achieve. My congratulations are also extended to all involved with the Mount Cricket Club for demonstrating that community cohesion is always always been a key foundation of our faith. That's from Fiaz Rashid, the director of PKWA. He mentioned that he sent a message in a bit earlier. Okay, now then, where are we? Okay, can you ask Mr. Rashid how the mass ceremony went? My apologies, the message came in whilst he was on air and I was unable to ask that question. What was his experience like? We'll try and get him on. We have got Mohammed Maqsood. Okay, we're going to bring him in. Mohammed Maqsood, the question was for Fiaz Web. I'm sure you could be able to answer. How was the mass ceremony and what was the experience like?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to all the brothers and sisters listening on air. In regards to the question, the ceremony was totally out of world. I mean, it was, in a essence, it's just like how we have our traditional Islamic khutbahs. So at this ceremony, it was a very rare occasion that they were actually pontificating 4 people to be saints over here. After a very, very, very extremely long time, it was a husband and wife who were declared as saints. That was one. And there was another sister and a brother that was declared as saints. So that was one of the things, from Spain, from Argentina, from Italy. So that the whole atmosphere was out of the world.
Right.
And for us personally, I mean, it was the whole question about learning about another faith. And some of the things that we haven't either learned in schools or we haven't noticed face to face and all those. So that was one. And then, I mean, it was the added attraction or the cherry on the topping that His Holiness Pope Francis then waved all of us on his mobile. So that was that. All thanks to Sadiq Bhai. He had prearranged the special seatings, so we were as far as exactly where you are sat. So that was I mean, one of the history making moments, because a lot of them, I was speaking to Father Pratish, who was one of the members of the Vatican team, and he said in his lifetime he hasn't come across that close to His Holiness the Pope since what we were. So to sum it up, it was a totally different atmosphere and everything. Brilliant atmosphere.
Right. And tell us about the PKWA involvement in the whole trip.
We are actually a partner organization to Mount CC, and we have always emphasized on building links within the community, helping Mount in terms of either it be logistics, either it be in terms of providing facilities to them, meetings like recently this year it was the Shahid Afridi event, which again was a masterpiece organized by Sadiq Bhai. And we actually held it on our premises. So we are working alongside them, shoulder and shoulder, walking alongside them to make it success. Because at the end of the day, I always like to call it as we all battalions working towards the same goals and the same focus and same structure at the end of the day. So, I mean, I personally have this belief that none of us is Indian or from Pakistan or from other communities. We are all Muslims at the end of the day, and we all working together towards the same common paths and all those. So till the end of day, till the end of Qiyamah, we'll be working alongside them, helping them support in terms of either it be monetary, logistics, and so on and so forth.
And for yourself, what stands out the most from the whole trip?
Personally, for me, it was actually a very much of a learning curve. I actually learned quite a bit about the Christian religion. They were very well spoken, very soft spoken, very calm people. Especially Father Higgins, who had actually touched my heart. We had Father Robert, who stayed in Pakistan for 35 years, and he was on one of the missions where they preach Christianity and stuff. Father Samir, who actually had common links with me, because Father Samir, I mean, a lot of them might be knowing, your listeners, that I was born and brought up in Dubai. So Father Samir had lived in Dubai for 18 years, and he actually lived just close to my house where I reside currently in Dubai, and that was the added attraction. So the whole closeness and all those was quite appealing. But I mean, again, as I say, I mean, it's always interesting to learn about various other religions. And at the end of the day, a lot of us Muslims and Christians, we had quite a bit common in faith. As Sadiq Bhai initially said, I mean, yes, their facts about Hazrat Isa alayhi salam what might be a bit different, or beliefs might be a bit different, but at the end of the day, they believe in almost the same book as we do. They still have quite a few things, as I was speaking to Father Pratish earlier on, Old Testament, and they take quite a few things from the New Testament. So I mean, at the end of the day, it was all common goals.
That's right. Right. Okay. We've got a question that's come in. Did you get a chance to meet any local Muslims in Rome, Abdulaziz?
Yes, we did. Some of us, after the Vatican tour on the Friday morning, did Juma prayers at a mosque not too far from the Vatican itself, actually. So we I mean, it's a very humble place, as you can appreciate. But luckily, Soli Adam, Dr. Rajpura, and other people did have the opportunity to speak to local Muslims there. And inshallah, I think if we had more time, unfortunately, the whole visit was packed with activities. There's very little time to stop and pause. But we wish we had a bit more time to explore. You know, there are some other mosques in Rome. The Grand Mosque in Rome was one that we picked out and one we wanted to visit, but time was of the essence, because one of the things that the players had to do on Friday was that we had to split into two camps essentially. So we had, thanks to Sadiq Bhai, because he knew that the pitch was very different to what we play on here. So he'd organised a friendly game with one of the clubs there, Campanella Cricket Club. So soon after, we did our Friday Jummah, and then we went to the ground to play there. So we slightly got separated. So unfortunately, it would be nice to have more time for that, but inshallah, next time.
Okay. Now, just staying on that point for a moment, did you get the chance to actually speak to some of the local Muslims there and ask them about how life was like for them?
Well, I personally didn't, but brother here, Mike?
We actually, as Abdul Bhai said initially, we went to the local mosque, and I actually came across a Syrian gentleman. And I was speaking to him in Arabic, and I spoke to him about the hardships and everything. And he said it was a wonderful place. he had no troubles, nothing at all. And he was telling me about his journey over there and how he spent 6 months and more and more forth. But I mean, the main point, picking up from his conversation, was it's a wonderful place to live in, safe, secure, and they had access to each and every amenities and all those.
Yeah. Okay, subhanallah. Okay, remember you can join in, send your messages or your questions to by WhatsApp or text to 07460809218, or you can give us a call on 01924 505 629. Now, Abdulaziz, somewhere along the line, I'm sure we started to talk about the team itself and how and their experience, and your personal experience as a cricketer. Tell us about that. I mean, 4 days, so much to cram in, two cricket matches in there as well. How did you keep on top of everything?
It was one of those things when, you know, you go to tours and you don't really know what's going to happen, but you've got a sort of rough sketch about where we need to be at certain times. So it's very much like that. But what, as Brother Sadiq and Solibai said, what was really good about the whole time we were there was the fact that no one complained. No one raised concerns that, how come we don't have this detail or that detail. Everybody understood that, we will make provisions and we will have planning. So, for example, to give you an example, we had a mashwara on the Thursday night because in order to get to the Vatican at 8 o'clock in the morning, we had to compromise on our breakfast, because if we waited to have breakfast, then we would have missed the transport links, and therefore we would have missed the opportunity to go to the Vatican. So we all agreed. But what was, mashallah, very good, that the hotel were very accommodating, and they provided for us little breakfast bags, which was really good. And it's a group of 33 that traveled, so people of different age groups and different needs. So we needed to be sensible in that respect. But just going to the Vatican and being greeted by the Australian ambassador and being absolutely overwhelmed with joy to greet us there was a very special memory for all of us who were there. I mean, where else would you be in a situation where you were being greeted by such dignified officials like that? And it just got better and better when we went to the match. When we, as we entered the ground, there were film crews, there were TV crews waiting to capture every moment of our visit. And what I think really helped was that, as Solibai said earlier, that the fact that wives, daughters, other friends were there, it actually enriched the whole experience. And that, I think that's a very important point, that the whole basis of two faiths coming together, interacting. I mean, one of the issues that unfortunately is that we don't have enough interaction between communities. And if there was more interaction, perhaps a lot of the misconceptions and misunderstanding would alleviate themselves. But there was an opportunity to do so. And as Sadiq mentioned, there were world cricket in terms of its echelons were present at that game on that Saturday, and it was an absolute honor. I think that might have impacted and affected our performance, because it was a very nervous situation, as you can imagine. It's normally on a Saturday when we play, we don't get that level of buzz or interest. So that might have had a teeny weeny little bit to do with our performance.
Right. Well, I want to ask you about performance-wise. I mean, come on, how was your batting on the day?
Look, this is a team sport.
I love the way you always turn it into a team sport and all these. Look, I've heard it from everyone else, but from you, I want the real rundown. How did you guys actually perform?
As I said, we actually played 2 games. So on the first game, we played against Campanella. Now you've got to bear in mind that Campanella are one of the best teams in Italy, and over the last few years in a lot of the international competition, they have literally won. So we won comfortably that game, winning by 6 wickets. So we were, to be honest with you, we were probably been a bit too confident.
Key players in that game.
Key players in that game, and
I bet everyone's interviewed you. No one's asked you these questions, have they?
To be honest with you, it was a cricket game, but I think as Sadiq Bhai, and as I'm echoing now, it was much more than a cricket game. The cricket was a sort of sideshow in many respects, to what was happening in terms of.
Just for a moment, we want to bring it to the front. So keep performance. Go on the first night.
I think our bowlers bowled really well. We restricted the home team to a very modest score, and then, to be honest with you, we won with 6 wickets. So most of us didn't need to bat because the two openers, including Yusuf Bhai over there, did the job for us.
Yeah, and of course the main game against St. Peter's was a T20.
I'll tell you a funny story about that, which I shared with Mark Arthurs last week at Yorkshire County Cricket Club. We actually started the game really well. We bowled first, and we had the St. Peter's team right under the cosh, if I'm honest with you. So, in the spirit of friendship, we thought, we better take the foot off the gas and at least make a decent game out of it. Now, unfortunately, they actually got a couple of good partnerships, so they ended up with a challenging score. And as I said, the pitch was unusual for us in that respect. I think the fact that we only lost by 4 runs, and you can't put it down to one thing or another as to why we lost the game, because there was the odd extra here and there, so it was very close. But we will have the opportunity to play our friends again next year, inshallah. And as many of your viewers might have picked up already, such is the stature of Mount Cricket Club, which in no mean feat has been given thanks to the efforts of Sadiq Bhai and the way in which this tour was greeted and received. The offer of playing the rematch has been made by none other than Yorkshire County Cricket Club at Headingley. So we're really excited about that. We just obviously we'll have to work out the logistics in terms of when we do that. And in fact, I don't know if you know this, Sadiq Bhai, but last year, the St. Peter's team lost against the Archbishop's team very closely, exactly like what we did when they came here. So they played on Saturday again, and this time around St. Peter's win. So in terms of their season, they played 6 games, of which they won 5 of them. So very good outcome for them. So obviously, they're very keen to come and defend their particular trophies here next year.
Now, Sadiq mentioned a lot about how within the group itself, there's new friendships that have been born there. There's a lot of camaraderie there. There's a lot of friendship and love that's within that group that traveled there. But you mentioned something there about your friends, the St. Peter's team. How is that relationship between the players? I know it was at the end of the day, it was a friendly. If it was a cup match, I dare say there would have been a lot more passion from both sides, probably. But how about the friendship, or the bonds that have been made there?
Well, brother here mentioned Father Pratib and Father Samir and Father Higgins. I mean, these are special people that require special mention, and also Brother Alfonso from Capinella Cricket Club. I mean, I'll give you an example. After the match on Saturday, we went to one of the Vatican schools where the seminarians study to become priests, and we shared a very humble dinner with them. And then afterwards, we had to go back. Someone like Peter Alfonso, who we only met 2 days ago, he personally took myself, my daughter, and Dr. Akbar and his wife to the hotel. Now, he didn't need to do that, but that was the bond of friendship.
That's brilliant. And you mentioned a little bit earlier as well about the cameras and everything that was there. But whilst you were actually there and on the pitch, and even during the 4 days, did you think you were going to get quite the media reaction that you've got?
Secretly, I did, because of gentlemen over there, because this was something that was unique, and the storyline or the description that sort of is etched in my mind is the one that the English Cricket Board placed in their website, which was that Mount Cricket Club's tour to the Vatican has made history. Now, when you see a title like that, a description of an event like what we've done, you start to think, you know what, there's a master plan here that's been executed to the T.
Right, okay. We have got a question coming. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I don't want to take anything away from the good work done by Mountain this initiative, but food for thought is one of the reasons why we don't have players from our community playing for Yorkshire, England, is that we are too insular, keeping ourselves to ourselves by having segregated teams. What's the bigger picture? It would be interesting to debate it sometime.
Happy to.
And Sadiq Bhai has said, bring it on. Okay, so listener, if you want to give us a email us at radio@imws.org.uk, we'll put a special show together and hopefully debate that particular matter. Now then, we're going to take a very quick break. We're going to bring some of the other guys on as well, inshallah ta'ala, but don't go don't go away, because I have got a question and a half to ask you towards the end. We're going to take a break. Back after this.
Online and on your home receiver, you're listening to Radio IMWS.
Hire the Al Hikmah Center for your weddings, functions and events, with segregated halls for men and women, including independent access, able to accommodate 1,500 guests, private car park with car park attendants, easy access, great location and full free Wi-Fi. There's no place better for your special day. For bookings and inquiries, call 01924 500 555 or email info@imws.org.uk or visit our website at www.imws.org.uk. The Al Hikmah Center, where your special day becomes a cherished memory. Play five-a-side football in the Al Hikmah Sports Hall for just £18 an hour between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. Monday to Friday. Call 01924 500 555. To book a slot at any other time, call 07968 222 886. It is related by Sayyidina Anas radiallahu anhu that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, when a man marries, he has completed half of his religion, so let him fear Allah regarding the remaining half. The Al Hikmah Nikah service launched by the IMWS aims to introduce prospective marriage partners to help fulfill this important aspect of faith. The service is open to unmarried Muslims who are permanent residents of the UK. For more information, visit our website at www.imws.org.uk.
Radio IMWS.
Welcome back to Radio IMWS, broadcasting live from the Al Hikmah Center. It is Monday, the 26th of October, and our special guest in the studio are Mount CC after their historic cricketing journey to the Vatican. You can still get your questions in or your messages on 07460809218, or you can give the studio a call on 01924 505 629. Now then, we do have in the chair a legend in the world of cricket, and especially in the world of Mount Cricket, is Mr. Yusuf Paikaya. Yusuf, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Now then, how was it for you?
Alhamdulillah, it was absolutely amazing trip. I don't even think Steven Spielberg would have written a better script.
Subhanallah. That good, huh? Mashallah. Did you have some special effects?
Alhamdulillah, yeah, it's just in my batting. They didn't work in my batting, so alhamdulillah.
So how was your batting?
It was okay. I did what I had to, and we got the opening stands in both games. We went off to a good start, 30 runs on both games.
Yeah.
But it wasn't to be.
Right, but I'm sure that's on the return visit, inshallah. You guys will more than make up for that. Now, you were looking very smart in the pictures, by the way, I have to say, wearing those uniforms. Those suits, those.
For the record, the first time I wore a shirt and tie in 25 years.
Yes, a lot of people were commenting on that.
And
you were very smart.
Whilst I remember, I've got to send an apology to our famous Akuji Badat's WhatsApp group. Apparently, I've been inundating with them with photos and videos, and they're all fed up with me. So big apology to you all.
Yes, subhanallah. Now we did hear that it's been on. How many, Sadiq, did you mention how many articles? We were talking in the break. About 300 articles on the internet about Mount CC. Have you ever known Mount CC have so much coverage?
No, I've been here a very long time, nearly 30 years. I've seen nothing ever. nothing like
to
this.
this level.
Not even when we came on Sky Sports. Nothing.
So tell us about your experience itself, because you've been through a lot with Mount over the years, of course. And I mean, I remember the story you told me about Farid Bai's van having to get out at the bottom of the hill and walk up to the top. From there to the Vatican, that's an amazing journey.
Absolutely amazing journey. I've got to thank one guy especially, Fayaz from PKWA. He was my guide. He was in Rome 2 days earlier than us, and he had everything sussed out for when we went, and he was a brilliant guide to have. We got lost most of the times, but he still was a brilliant guide.
Subhanallah. We've got a message in. Yusuf Kayat should be in Dubai playing for England. They need him badly. They need you badly.
No, I'm Mount through and through.
Mount through and through. Not even for the international.
No. Plus, I've got work here.
Oh, any old excuse. Now, the games themselves, not the games, sorry, meeting the Pope. I mean, how is that for?
Unfortunately, because our flight changed, we had to come back early, so we missed the mass.
Right.
But it's like meeting Father Higgins and everybody. So humble guys. A few people have asked me what it's like, what lives do they live? I say it's very simple. In Batley, we have our ulemas like Maulana Rauf, Maulana Bodiyat Sahib, and they have simple lives, exactly same as these very humble guys and amazing guys, absolutely amazing.
Yeah. Now the whole crossover, of course, I mean, it's been used a lot to say there's a Muslim team and a Christian team. And but what was the feeling like when you were actually there? Was there that difference between the faiths, or?
No, there wasn't much really. Everybody just got on with everybody else. Cricket took a second nature. Actually, it was more about friendship to everybody, I think.
Did you ever get being on the pitch? Did you ever get to that point where you started yelling and screaming?
Well, I do. Everybody who knows me, what I'm like, especially when I get out and when I lose a game. But for 5 minutes, yes, I was sulking. So sorry again to all the supporters that we had over there.
It wouldn't be right if you hadn't sulked.
No, I have to sulk, but
St. Peter's needed to see that.
St. Peter's needed to see that as well.
We've got a message in. Yusuf Bhai, what is your vision for Mount CC for the next couple of years?
I'll give you a vision for 5 years. It's very simple. Okay. Mark from Yorkshire has given us personally and me personally a responsibility that in 5 years' time, he has to have a girl from Batley, Mount Pleasant, from Mount Cricket Club, or whichever local cricket club to go and play for Yorkshire. So that's my one mission I have in 5 years. So you've got to bear with me for the next 5 years now.
Right. Okay. Well, it's a good vision, mashallah, and it'll be a pleasure bearing with you for 5 years, inshallah.
Inshallah.
And I'm sure you'll stay on the mic. I don't want you to go anywhere. But we have got Nisar Bhai Bengali who's with us as well, mashallah. Nisar Bhai, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Now then, Nisar Bhai, tell us about first of all, your connection with Mount.
It's actually, I don't know where to start and what to say, but it's like a dream come true.
Yeah.
I only got to know the guys 8 months ago. Before that, I had no connection about cricket or Mount or anybody else. And from a small town in Batley with joining Mount Cricket Club, I end up in the beauty and the elegance of the Vatican, which is absolutely a dream come true.
Right. Now, you obviously were not in the batting lineup.
No.
If you were, they wouldn't have lost. I'm not rubbing it in, honestly. No, it was a fantastic performance. But how was the whole journey for you?
The whole journey, as everybody has said now, it was, what can you say? It was just like whatever, well, I have to give, it was the vision of Brother Sadiq, who every meeting I used to attend, and he used to say, do this and do that. And when we went there, the whole picture, what he wanted to do, is actually come to reality. And when like we've never met the people before, we've never been to Rome before, and the hospitality and everything you receive, and you have to be there to admire the favors and what we receive. They like hospitality all the time. Yeah,
I mean, one of the things, of course, across Europe, I asked this of Salibay as well. Interesting to have your take on it as well. One of the things across Europe is that when someone sees a Muslim and see a Muslim with a beard or a Muslim wearing anything that resembles a Muslim appearance, there's various negative reactions and things like that happen. How was traveling through Rome, going into the Vatican, how's all that journey? Did you come across anything like that?
No, not even 1 second. noted that the people there are so humble. When we were talking to Father Higgins and everybody, the team,
Mm.
and even the public, because we actually, after the match, they were playing sometime, we went into the city center to Rome with Brother Fiaz and Maqsood.
So-
People were not staring at us.
Right.
They were just minding their own business, but they were, when we met them, they were so humble, and they were, where you come from and what's the reason. So it was a pleasure to be there,
Yeah. And did you always go around with the Mount Thai and everything?
Oh,
on?
yes. It was the only thing. I was in Glasgow the day after before I came, and the Yorkshire tie is a piece of mantle for me. And everywhere I go, I don't put my tie on now, and I put the Yorkshire tie on.
Subhanallah. Yusuf, you want to come in?
Yes, I'd just like to say that when we had the tour of the Vatican, you got to remember a few things here, which I learned myself as well. Mohammed, I'm going to ask you a question now, because you've been asking them. Every time I come here, you always ask me. So I'm going to ask you.
You do realize
one
I
now.
have the mute on the mics as well,
it's
so
okay.
I can get away with anything.
How many visitors do you think the Vatican has per day?
Per day?
Yeah.
You know what? The complete...
Have a guess.
Complete guess would be 5,000.
20,000.
Seriously?
Per day.
That was going to be my first answer.
You got to remember that the way Muhammad Sadiq sorted it out, we didn't have to wait.
Yeah.
It's 4-hour waiting queue.
Yeah.
We got VIP passes.
Yeah.
And obviously, we got the tour at the exact time because of the Jummah namaz and the game as well.
Yeah.
So you got to remember that we did get very well looked after.
Yeah.
It's absolutely amazing places inside. I've been some places, trust me, the museum is it's like a world of its own.
Subhanallah. I'm going to come back to you, but Nisaba, what really stands out, other than the cricket itself? What stands out for you in the whole trip?
I didn't join Mount. I know it's not about cricket, but cricket is, as you said, it's not about winning or losing.
Yeah.
But one thing I've learned about through cricket is like community cohesion and going into another country, not met the people before the country is something new, and building links with another community or another country around the world. And I think that was Sadiq's project, that even Islam teaches us that. And whatever they have, we have got it and all, and building links with it, and which will make the world to be a better place to live in, and be a better ambassador. And
yeah. Subhanallah. Yusuf, for you, I mean, you're a well-traveled gentleman. There's not a curry house that you probably have not visited, but food is we'll come to food in a minute. But for you, I mean, you are a well-traveled person. What you just mentioned there about it was really amazing inside and everything. Tell us a little bit about it. What really struck you?
See, what struck me is, first of all, how did somebody get up there and actually hand painted them is fairly high. That was the first thing. Then the artwork is just amazing. I'm not a person for artwork, but once you go there, then you start looking into it. It's absolutely amazing.
Right.
And the amount of people that were there inside the tour, but seeing us in our blazers and ties, the amount of people that used to come up to us. We did a few autographs as well. I don't mind even saying that. In Batley, I won't, but over there, I did do a few autographs, and they were asking people from Australia, all over the world. They were asking, obviously, why have you come here with these blazers? And obviously, they know there's a cricket club. They didn't even know that there was a cricket club from the Vatican. The Pope had a cricket team. A lot of people didn't even know that.
Well, that's another question that I'm going to get onto. So, if someone in Australia has the Yusuf Kayat autograph,
yes,
that's worth money.
And my telephone number as well.
And your telephone number. Okay, that's worth money. I mean, that's going to be on eBay very, very soon. I can see it. Now, you mentioned there about people are not aware of the Vatican having a cricket team. We weren't aware of the Vatican having a cricket team, to be honest with you. I had no idea.
Well, I'll tell you why. When I got told by Mohammed Sadiq, I didn't believe him, and I had to go straight to my chairman and ask him. He says, yeah, he's not kidding. There is one. I says, okay, then let's get move on. But then we started doing some research ourselves.
What's the makeup of the team? It's
mainly origin of from India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh. But obviously they're all there to study the fathership and become priests, and then go back to their own.
Right. So these are actually the students who are studying there to become priests, who make up the team.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. To be honest with you, I wasn't aware of that. Okay. And the other thing is, during the time with these guys, what annoyed you the most about them?
Nothing. It was a pleasure to be there, actually.
I can't get anyone to say
Honest.
anything nasty, man.
No, there's nothing wrong because I'm a working class people.
Yeah.
I'd never get the honor to whatever the hospitality we received. And like as Solly has said, and everybody, it was like a family.
Yeah.
Mount Cricket Club is not a cricket club; it's a family club.
Yeah.
Everybody's welcome.
Yeah, and I know Solly said that as well. You're saying it there as well. There's a lot of people from different backgrounds in there, but everyone got along really well.
No problem.
MashaAllah. And right, okay, now there's a return trip, but you guys also planning some sort of an outing since. Have you been to any to a meal? Have you taken them out for a meal yet?
No, we're planning that. Apparently, we've got a couple of meal organized. One by Fayaz from PKW as a surprise. It's meant to be a surprise meal, but unfortunately, our chairman's out of the country. He's in India, so one of the other meals is going to get delayed for when he comes back in December, end of December.
Well, that's a surprise meal gone, isn't it?
Yes.
We've had a few exclusives to this evening on here, mashallah. So, okay, now, Nisabe, if you could do, just a final thing on the team itself, on the journey itself. If you could change anything, what would you change?
I'd tell Sadiq to stay.
There you go, Sadiq bhai. You don't need more than that.
Alhamdulillah, just regarding Nisar has come in. He has helped the club a lot. He gave us obviously t-shirts to wear for the tour. He's even sponsored us club hoodies. We wanted them for one team, then another team. Then our under 13s came along, and then our women's group came along as well. And alhamdulillah, every time we've asked Nisar, he has never turned us down.
Subhanallah. That's brilliant. Okay, now we're going to get Abdul Aziz back on because we're going to... Sadiq wants to come on?
Yeah, my last announcement.
Okay, I wanted Yusuf to be around. I'll tell you what, Sadiq come on, and then I want Yusuf back in the chair because we do have a very important... Okay, Sadiq, wait.
Well, so I think that in response to one of your earlier questions, happy to confirm that in 2016, the Sir John Major Trophy will be competed for in Jerusalem. So that's going to be the Sir John Major Trophy competition next year. Inshallah, the team will fly out on the 28th fast. They will arrive in Jordan on the 29th fast. Inshallah, they will do Eid Namaz at Masjid Al-Aqsa. And then after they do the Eid Namaz at Masjid Al-Aqsa, it is hoped, inshallah, that a Muslim cricket team and a Jewish cricket team will eat at Masjid Al-Aqsa or in Jerusalem. And after the Eid festivities, a cricket game will be played between a Muslim team and a Jewish 11 in Jerusalem. I'm happy to confirm that the negotiations have already started, although I'm no longer part of the cricketing fraternity, but certainly if the Vatican and Rome was a success, and it certainly has been. But I think in terms of cricketing matters, I think to see a Muslim and Jewish cricket team shoulder to shoulder, hand to hand at Temple Mount or on the compound of Masjid Al-Aqsa, I think that will certainly send an amazing message to all. And I think certainly in that part of the world, the game of cricket, the friendship game, I hope will bring a lot of peace, understanding, and may well be a good kickstart or a good example of how both religions and both communities can live in peace with each other. So inshallah, I want everyone to make dua that the 2016 competition will take place, inshallah, in Jerusalem. So that's already been announced. I don't know if you have come across that news or not, but I think that announcement was made last week or the week before, just after the Vatican venture. So next year it's going to be Jerusalem, inshallah.
Okay, so that's coming up next year. In closing, anything from you?
Yeah, I think it's been a good interview, and alhamdulillah, certain parts of it have been very serious, and there's been jest and joviality, which is important, I think. Without not saying too much, because obviously there was a lot of effort and a lot of planning and a lot of hard work behind the scenes. I don't think I really deserve all the plaudits and all the kind messages that I've received. As I said earlier, I think it's those that successfully delivered the project that are my real heroes. But I think all of us, each and every single one of us, should dream, can dream, and certainly can make dreams a reality. I don't think anyone would have thought in their wildest dreams that such an event could take place. And on the general theme of Islamophobia and people complaining about the press and the media and other communities think of us as wrong people and this, that, and whatever, that's always going to be there. In the week that the Mount achieved considerable success in Rome, we had the sad news of 2 people being arrested in this town, under terrorism charges and what have you. That's always going to be there. I think we have got to turn our ship around. I think all of us, each and every single one of us, has got to now individually pursue and want our religion, our faith, and our community to do positive things. I think we spend far too much time talking about things which are negative, things that we can't achieve. Because certainly one thing I have learned, look, I'm not an organization. I'm not a committee, I'm not a head or a chair or of any other organization, but simpleness, decency, good intention can achieve a lot of results. 2 things I will certainly leave you to think about and all your listeners to think about. And I think if my advice is taken, and I have to take my advice myself, there's 2 things that are counterbalancing this particular community. There's one end of it which is very aspiring, that wants to do great and wonderful things. And there's another thing that's pulling it back. And I think one of the learned ulama has recently mentioned this in his Friday sermon. We have to cut out the jealousy in this community. Yeah, there's one thing I have learned in the last 2 years about what's bringing our community down. It's one word, and that's jealousy. Right? There's a lot of good people in the IMWS, in the PKWA, the people who sit in the committees in the masjids and the rest of it. They're there spending their own time. They're taking time away from their loved ones. They're taking time away from their families, right? Nobody has a right to be jealous or to have jealous tendencies, right? The one thing which all of us can learn from in this particular experience is that each and every single person that went to Rome was equally valuable for his and for her own individual experiences and talents and the rest of it. Take one out of that 33, it wouldn't have been successful. Each of that 33 had their own unique special talents. And when you mix it all together, then wonderful things happen. None of them were jealous. No jealousy from the players that were not selected to go. No jealousy from people who wanted to go as an official or as part of the touring party. And where we are not jealous, then we achieve. So my advice and my lesson to anyone who wants to do projects and do community work, take out the jealousy, work together, create a family unit. Everyone is equal. Nobody's high, nobody's low. If you look at the photographs, the men and the women were giving the prizes, were doing the speeches, were doing the media interviews. Nobody was said, well, you're not Mr. Chairman, you're not Mr. Secretary, you're not development officer this, and you're not development officer that. Each and every single person was treated equally. And I think when we treat people equally, where we are not jealous of other people, I'm sure everyone in this room will agree, great things can happen. And lastly, make dua. Dua is very important. It's very powerful. I make dua not only for our community, but for everyone, every Muslim in the United Kingdom, in the world. And more importantly, I also make dua that those who are not Muslims help Muslims, are friendly towards Muslims, give Muslims respect, and that we can live in peace. And thank you for allowing me and my friends in Mount Creative Club. Thank you for all the coverage that you have given us, and I hope that in many years to come, this will be the first of many wonderful experiences that you will be, I hope next year, talking to some different men and women about Jerusalem. And it's important that you carry on your work, Mohammed, but it's important that you carry on this radio show and you inform and you educate and you inspire our community. So on behalf of Mount Cricket Club, can I thank you? Can I thank the IMWS? And more importantly, can I thank the IMWS Radio, who have very kindly promoted and reported and given a very positive narrative about this particular experience.
Jazakallah, it's been an absolute pleasure. But before we end the show, I do have to come to Yusuf. Yusuf, now then, it's been a very successful season for Mount.
Yes, correct.
Okay, tell us all the awards, because you got a new one.
Yeah, we just recently received. It's funny enough. On Saturday, I was here at a wedding. But I was here for 11 hours for the record. Yeah. So for a change, I went to a wedding that we actually cooked and not ordered.
Subhanallah.
So it was something different. But anyway, this guy from the Sunday League Mid Yorkshire that we play in, Malcolm Brickwood is his name. He's the chairman. He kept ringing me and I just wouldn't answer. I said, it's not cricket season. I don't really need to ring him. So anyway, he must have rang one of our lads who normally goes to the meeting. He says, can I come and drop you a box off? So he says, okay. He says, where's Yusuf? He says, probably at a wedding. He's not answering his phone. So anyway, this guy went to pick up the box, and obviously the guy says, just pass it on to Yusuf and I'll talk to him over the phone. So he rang me. He says, he's giving me a box. I said, oh, well, open it up. You never know what's inside. So anyway, he's open. He says, there's some trophies in here. I says, okay, what do the trophies say? He says, well, we've got 13 the same. And they say the runners up in the Division 2 section of the Mid Yorkshire Sunday League. I says, okay, that's fine. I says, how many trophies? I says, 13. I says, well, there was 11 of you and me and Sadiq, so that's ideal. So we've got something to show for our hard work with the youngsters throughout the season. And trust me, it was hard work for me and Sadiq. But alhamdulillah, but the other trophy was a fair play trophy, which other teams vote for the fairest team that played during the season. And apparently we at Mount have never won anything like that. So it was a nice gesture from all the other leagues in the league to pick our boys, because you got to remember, these boys are only like from 13 years old to 20 years old, and first time they've been playing cricket for a season. So alhamdulillah, so they showed a lot of good things, spirited towards the team. So as well as the 3 main trophies that we won out of 4, this was an added bonus.
Tell us the main trophies again.
We won we play in the Huddersfield Central Cricket League. We won the Section A. We narrowly missed out on the championship. We finished second. We won the League Cup, and our second team, alhamdulillah, which is Abdul Bhai is part of, won the League and Cup double. And the under 13s narrowly missed out on their league as well, and they finished, well, they lost in the final.
Right. Okay. Mashallah. Now that brings me very nicely onto, of course, the final question of those is, remember the last time you were in the studio?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and we were talking about this A team, B team, or is it first team, second team? First team, second team match. What happened?
First team bottled it.
You got the answer. We came to play, but unfortunately, the first team were unable for reasons beyond our control.
Which means they bottled it.
Which means they bottled it, Sadiq Bhai says. Mashallah. Right, okay. Yusuf Bhai?
No comment. Riaz Motala was the captain.
Riaz Motala, if you are listening out there, you're taking all the blame for this. Is it going to happen? Come on.
Inshallah, it will happen. But a slight problem we had was trying to get the fixture in before I went for Hajj.
Right.
Unfortunately, and I had to play that game.
Right.
It doesn't matter if I don't play any other games. I had to play that game, so I told them to wait for me. But unfortunately, it wasn't.
But I'll still go with Sadiq's comment about the fact that they bottled it.
They bottled it. Abdulaziz, do you reckon they bottled it because you guys were on top form and they realized, give you a couple of weeks off, and that'll put weight back on, and you won't
Can I answer that?
Sorry, yes, go on.
I saw both teams.
Yes.
In great detail.
Yes.
It would have been a close game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There are 2 exceptional, well, probably 3 exceptional players in the first team.
Mm-hmm.
They've probably got the best wicket keeper in the league,
right?
Imran in the first team,
right?
But and they've got an exceptional spinner. Well, 2 exceptional spinners, Imran Patel and and Junaid Diller, who was the captain in the Vatican. But the second team are a team, 1 to 11. Yeah,
Yusuf,
they're a team, a proper team. If you remember the old Liverpool sides of the 80s,
yes,
you know, whether it's a good day or a bad day, you know, they know how to win.
Yeah,
they've got some old timers. They've got a few kids who've been around the block a few times. They can grind out a victory. And I think if I had to choose a particular winner, I think the second team would have won this season. Yeah.
Okay, Yusuf.
And I think Yusuf has to agree with that.
Yusuf.
On paper, I think the second team would have won, on form as well.
Yeah.
Credit to them. Nothing taken away from our first team. But the second team played as a unit. But again, the message was to our first team, there was just too many players missing too many games at any one time. So that's why they probably not only missed out on the championship as well. But it's a lesson. It's a lesson to learn. As long as we learn from it and don't make the same mistake next year, inshallah, we'll be here with 4 trophies instead of 3.
Inshallah.
Abdulaziz, I've got to give you the last word on this because he's caved. They really did bottle it.
What can I say? I mean, I think it just goes to show. It's interesting. The Yorkshire ties that we got given resembles the rose, the white rose. The white rose represents 11 players, and in the middle is the heartbeat. And what I would say is that the second team represented 1 heartbeat.
Oh, mashallah. Very poetically put. So, seriously, you guys need to hammer them out of the ground. Come on, they're going to be too big for you next season.
No, but the next season is I'm playing in the second team. I'll be demoted myself.
I think yes. I think that's why you're starting to change your views from last time you were here. Look, gentlemen, Jazakallah for coming in today.
Jazakallah, Mohammed, for having us and putting up with us.
No, it's a pleasure. It's always a pleasure, mashallah. But Jazakallah for coming in. It's been brilliant. Time's flown. You never realize how long you're in the studio. It does go very, very quickly. But if you've been listening throughout, you will be aware that we mentioned a little bit earlier, quite a while ago, that it wasn't just the men who went over; it was the sisters as well. And we have got, inshallah ta'ala, this Saturday a special program for the sisters who went over, and they will be in the studio with Sister Safia from 5 p.m. till 6 p.m. inshallah this coming Saturday. Also coming up this week, we've got Fuldani on Wednesday at 8 p.m. That's Rafiq Bhai, mashallah, Rafiq Bhai's Gujarati program, inshallah ta'ala. Do tune in for that, and then following that we will have the politics program which we launched last Wednesday. Tune in for that, inshallah ta'ala. Again, both will be live on YouTube. Gentlemen, again, big jazakallah amount and congratulations. Great ambassadors for the sport, great ambassadors for the country, great ambassadors for the ground, for the town. On the return, we expect a victory. That's the only thing we ask for now, is a victory on the return. But inshallah, I'm sure you guys will be able to deliver on that. And Yusuf, go on.
Inshallah.
Inshallah, mashallah. And Yusuf, if you are playing in the second team, right, then I want who's the first team captain? Sorry,
Riaz Mutar.
Riaz, look, I need you to inshallah ta'ala message me very, very quickly and tell me that
unfortunately he's abroad at the moment, so he might not pick up his message.
We're on the World Wide Web. So inshallah ta'ala, whenever you get this message, remember you can watch it on YouTube in about half an hour again as well. We are live on YouTube right now, but Riaz, whenever you hear the message, please, you have to message me and tell me the first and second team are going to have that much, because I need a winner. A genuine winner, not opinions. I want to see the score, the runs on the board, the wickets falling, and I want a winner. Can we have that?
Inshallah.
Inshallah. There you go. Okay, that's it from me. It's been a little bit crazy. We've had all sorts this evening, but Jazakallah for listening. And until the next time, from all of us in the studio, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Online and on your home receiver, you're listening to Radio IMWS.
Hire the Al Hikmah Center for your weddings, functions and events, with segregated halls for men and women, including independent access, able to accommodate 1,500 guests, private car park with car park attendants, easy access, great location and full free Wi-Fi. There's no place better for your special day. For bookings and inquiries, call 01924 500